we start things from one-page slide to building something big, right? And you're building the team. Honestly, it's you don't have time. You don't have all you have to do is you have to work and do it. And hey, you can read Eric Ray's books. You can read all you would want to. Man, it's different. You have to just do it.
Time for me, that's the question. So
that was that.
Question. Actually, let me.
Just I'm exactly in that moment at the moment. We are 6 in the company, so it's pretty early. So we are in that kind of survival mode, but it's not a matter of time. I don't spend a lot of time, but I do think we have a really strong culture, and it's not a matter of we don't have a culture. It's a matter of how much time it's not a matter of how much time you spend. Because if you don't have a culture, you can have this, everyone is the CEO, because they will all take decision in the different direction. I just what I want with the team is that everyone needs to take micro decision every day, every single minute, every single hours. And if they don't take decisions that go in the same direction, you are going to lose much more time. Sorry. So, is it better? Just my point is not a matter of time. My point is that we have a strong culture, but we don't spend much time. And I every single week try to make them remember the 4 values of Plato, etc. So one of them is personal growth, because we are doing this kind of mentorship thing, and we want everyone to have their own mentors. We want everyone to grow. So that is something that is really strong, and every single week they try to do something about that. And it's not a lot of time to talk about this. But it's still very strong. That's my point.
Okay. So, any questions? If not, I will continue. But let's try to now have a short answer, so we can actually. It's okay. Well. This is for the audience. I think all these are providing insights. But there are a couple of things that I want to highlight. So mentorship, coaching, very important. For instance, Mohan, you pretty much are acting CTO for all companies in your portfolio. How many companies can you effectively handle, right? And how does that model scale?
Yeah, so since it's a very high-touch model, we don't invest in a lot of companies, right? So at any given time, in a single year, we probably do 3 companies, right? And most of the time, where it actually does not even overlap. Probably say 4 or 5 months, I'm 100% involved in one startup, and then we recruit the leadership, and slowly I phase out, right? So that way, when you bring in certain people, you have to give them the autonomy, right? So you don't want to run.
At which point do you feel that you can phase out? How do you find replacements so they can actually handle it?
Yeah, so it's hard, so it just depends on the company and depends on there was one company, Foghorn. I had to run it for a good 1 year because 1, things were moving pretty fast, and 2, we couldn't find the right co-founder. So one of the things that you always have to be very careful in you're bringing in a co-founder is somebody has good leadership skills, but at the same time, someone whom a VC would look at and say, oh, this is the guy I would like to invest in, right? So there's a whole lot of factors that go into it, right? It's not one single thing that matters, and so it varies from companies to company. There were certain things that were really good where we were able to attract talent, and I got a co-founder both from engineering and product in month and a half, and so it just depends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's say 6 is what you are handling. So what I like about what Kvank is doing, that has opportunity to scale, because you're really matching startups with experienced leaders who actually want to help, right? Because I know why I'm volunteering at Founders Institute is for that reason, right? You get actually creative juices working with startups. How do you know you are successful? How you measure success your mentors helping companies, how you measure success? Because Mohan said, well, 5 companies were successful exits. So you cannot measure that way, but I'm trying to understand how we make sure that we have the model that works, and how you measure success of your mentorship model.
Yeah, sure. So that's right. So we have a model that can scale, because in the one hand we have mentors, and mentors do that for many different reasons. They want to give back, they want to learn, they want to network and create opportunities, and they have something out of it. We try to amplify this. For example, if their main incentive is to learn, they might want to meet a mentor themselves for free or for a discount. If they want to give back, if it giving to a charity on their behalf can be something too. Or if they want to have network and create opportunities, what about giving them a visibility about they are good leaders? So on the mentor part, like, we haven't had a lot of churn. People are going during their mentoring session every single week, and this is the discovery that we made that has been the most impressive, is that people really actually want to help, and we have been really impressed about the number of people who join. So the co-founder and senior VP of engineering at Box, he has other things to do, I assume, but he still spends time every single week to help. And the other part, so mentees who don't really have the skills yet, but still want to learn, they are paying a subscription. So it's like an executive coach, but 10 times less expensive, so that we can fund the model and recruit more mentors, recruit more stories, and do better matching. So the measure of success is how much you can match the right mentor with the right mentee, how much the grades, like we have a kind of Uber or Airbnb model. After each call, they can grade each other. We can see if they liked, and if they don't, we can match them with someone else. Because we have many parameters for the matching. Could be level of experience, number of people in the company. So someone working on the SAP could help me on some stuff, but not on other stuff. I would prefer to talk to another CTO, for example. Size of the company, size of the engineering team I'm leading, if I'm managing engineer or also managers, if I'm a manager of manager or if I'm a manager of engineers, those kind of parameters that help us improve the model. And after each call, we try to measure the success with the grades, like a meeting, like a dating app.
Yeah, excellent. So, excellent. Okay.
So in all of these cases, we're talking about hiring coaches for these leadership training. Have you had experience of trying to build a network, like at SAP, of internal mentors? And I think at Apple as well.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we do have a mentorship program at SAP that also regular employees can make use of. An important thing is also to create a learning culture within the team, right? Oftentimes I refer to it as a collaborative learning. That's for us a really, really important point in the Innovation Center, fostered through 2 things basically on a constant basis, that we have basically a learning exchange on a technology level, right? Where people, through various brown bags and deep dives and so on, right? Quarterly reviews of peers, you get to know, you learn about the respective technologies, which is one part, but the more important one is actually that whoever comes into our team gets assigned basically a mentor, right, a buddy that basically coaches them along the way. And we usually have at the end of the year, we started that last year, but this year we're going to do it again. We have a leadership trainer come in basically, and then people pair up at the end, right? And you're responsible once you have had this training. You basically pair up in the training, and then for this 1 year going forward, you're responsible. You have a buddy, right? Again, that you have assigned goals with at the beginning of the year. and then he keeps you on track towards these goals. You meet on a regular basis, you say, hey, remember we set these goals at the beginning of the year after this leadership training for the team, and then they try to keep themselves on track. Nothing management tracks, nothing I track. If they feel it's valuable, then they continue on it. If they don't, then they don't. But so far, the feedback that we have gotten was really, really positive on it, and that's why we're gonna do it again and move forward on it. But this is again something that my team and I decided basically to do because we felt it's valuable to create this mentorship program within to even foster collaboration between various teams, between various entities and colleagues a little bit more. And so this keeps them on track, because also there's a little bit the difference of a coach and a mentor, right? A mentor is someone that gives you momentarily advice to a certain problem that you might have. Right, and a coach is someone that holds you accountable, right? That basically keeps following up with you along the way and keeps track of your progress, basically, and keeps you honest. And that is something that we wanted to achieve within our employee base, that they basically keep each other in check and follow up with each other and say, hey, remember that was the case back then, what you wanted to do, have you been doing it, and so on and so on. So that's just one example how we try to enforce that. But of course there's the larger trainingship umbrella from SAP, mentorship umbrella from SAP, where leaders have to go various levels. If you're like an L1, L2, L3 and so on, there are different leadership courses that they ask you to do, which is also very helpful. But I think the best feedback is always the one that you get directly from your colleagues that are interacting with you on a daily basis and that you have defined goals with.
If I can. Sure. So I mentioned Marco Garganta. His training company was bought by Twitter, and he went inside to create an internal, both leadership training programs inside of Twitter, but also an internal mentoring program that I think probably it may or may not be like yours, but it was an internal